All right, today we're going to dive into a really, truly mind-bending idea. It's one that takes something we all just assume is a good thing, our own awareness, and asks a deeply unsettling question about it.
I mean, what if this thing we all think makes us so special, this ability to know that we exist, what if it isn't a gift at all? What if it's actually some kind of evolutionary trap, a prison that once you're in, you can never, ever escape from?
Let's just try a little experiment, right here, right now. Just notice it. You're aware, you're conscious of my voice, you're conscious of these words on the screen. Simple enough, right?
Okay, but now notice this. You're not just aware, you're aware of being aware. Your mind isn't just having an experience, it's standing back and watching itself have the experience. You feel that little loop starting to form?
And here's the real kicker. Go on, try to turn it off. Seriously, try to stop being aware that you're aware. You can't, can you? The very act of trying to stop is itself an act of awareness. See, you're already caught.
So, that little mental feedback loop brings us right to our first section, the infinite mirror. And that's the perfect name for it, because it's all about this bizarre, inescapable hall of mirrors effect that's happening inside your head this very second.
So the term for this is awareness recursion. Think about it. Your other senses don't really do this. You don't see yourself seeing or hear yourself hearing. But consciousness, it's totally unique because it's always pointing back at itself. It reflects on itself, which then reflects on that reflection and on, forever. There's no solid ground to stand on. It's just mirrors all the way down.
Now let's see how this idea really takes shape in our second section, an animal's bliss. This is where we contrast our own weird, recursive minds with the much simpler and maybe, just maybe, much happier existence of other animals.
I mean, just look at this comparison. It's pretty stark, isn't it? On one side, you've got a dog. It lives completely in the now. It feels happy, it feels sad, but it doesn't have this existential dread. It has no idea it's going to die. And then there's us. We're saddled with regret about a past we can't change and anxiety about a future that hasn't happened yet. And why? It's a direct side effect of being self-aware.
The idea here is that there's this kind of evolutionary timeline for our suffering. For millions of years, our ancestors were basically just like other animals. Conscious, but not self-conscious. And then there was an accident. Some random evolutionary mutation flipped a switch, and suddenly the thought, I am, became possible. And in that one moment, we were kind of thrown out of this Eden of just being. That's when our uniquely human brand of suffering really kicked off.
And that leads us perfectly into our third section, the burden of knowing. We're going to dig into how consciousness doesn't just notice pain and suffering, it's an amplifier. It cranks the volume way, way up. Let's break down how this works. For an animal, there's basically just step one, a sensation, like a physical pain. It hurts, it reacts, and that's kind of the end of it. But for us, it's a whole other story. We get step two. We become aware that we're in pain. And then comes the real killer, step three. We start suffering from the awareness of our suffering. Oh no, I'm in pain and it's not stopping, and what if it gets worse? It's an echo chamber, and the pain just gets louder with every reflection.
Wow. And this quote just brilliantly nails how this whole thing messes with the good moments too. You can't just be purely happy because a part of your brain is standing back, watching you be happy and thinking, wow, this is a great moment and it's going to end. You literally start feeling nostalgic for the present moment while you're still living it.
And here it is, the ultimate burden. The horror of knowing with absolute certainty that you are going to die. This knowledge, which is totally unique to us, just hangs over everything. It's a poison that makes every joy feel temporary, every relationship a future tragedy. In fact, according to this perspective, pretty much all of human culture, our art, our religions, our philosophies, it's all just one giant, elaborate project to distract ourselves from this one single unbearable fact.
Okay, so if you thought that was bleak, buckle up. Our fourth section takes it to a whole new level. We're calling it a prison of one, the lonely reality of your own subjective experience.
Now, this is a classic philosophical question, right? But it just hits different in this context. You experience your own thoughts, your own feelings, your own awareness. But how can you be 100% sure that anyone else is?
This is actually a famous concept called the other mind's problem. You assume other people have rich inner lives like you do because they talk and act like you. But it's an assumption. You can never, ever prove it. Your consciousness locks you into a solitary confinement cell built for one. You are fundamentally alone in there.
And let's be crystal clear.
this isn't just a metaphor. This view says you are literally, neurologically, trapped inside your own head. You can never, not for a single second, experience the world from any perspective other than your own, forever. And it gets worse. You're not even experiencing reality directly. What you think of as the world out there is actually just a super complex simulation, a best guess model that your brain is generating inside your skull. You are locked inside this mental movie, and there is absolutely no way to peek outside the theater to see if the movie matches what's really going on.
So, all of this leads us to the final and frankly devastating conclusion in Section 5. The trap is knowing. This is all about why any attempt to escape this prison is doomed to fail, and in fact only makes the walls of the prison thicker.
Take something like meditation. Often, the goal is to achieve a state of no mind, to get free from this constant self-awareness. But what's the tool you're using to do that? Your own consciousness. You are consciously trying to become unconscious. You're aware of your attempt to be unaware, which of course means you're still aware. It's a paradox with no way out.
Look, even if you do manage to escape for a split second, maybe in a flow state, deep in meditation, whatever, it's only ever temporary. Awareness is the default setting. It always comes rushing back. You are, for all intents and purposes, serving a life sentence of self-awareness, with absolutely no possibility of parole.
And this is the final turn of the screw, the ultimate thesis of this whole dark idea. The very act of understanding this, of becoming aware of the nature of the consciousness trap, that's not the key to getting out. You've just become more aware of the walls of your own prison. Seeing the trap is part of the trap.
So we're left with this, aren't we? What do you do with this knowledge? How are you supposed to live, knowing you're caught in this infinite mirror? The source material just leaves us right there, with that question, and one final, pretty chilling thought. You're welcome.